Recently, This is America and the World visited the Republic of Uzbekistan. It's a beautiful country, rich in Silk Road history and culture, the crossroads of civilization where East meets West, and 300 days of sunshine a year. It's an important country in Central Asia. Borders are open with neighboring countries. There's new construction everywhere, and freedom of speech, religion, and the press are all front and center. Today, under the leadership of its president, Shavkat Mirziyoyev, it's a country on the move. They call it the new Uzbekistan. It's a young country, this year celebrating its 30th anniversary of independence from the Soviet Union, with a young population, 35 million people, 60% under 30 years old. The people of Uzbekistan are friendly and welcoming, and their gesture of hello, goodbye, with the hand over the heart, says it all. On this program, we'll learn how agriculture and industry are at the center of the country's economy and how foreign investment will play a key role in Uzbekistan's growth and development. This is America and the World visits the Republic of Uzbekistan. Underwriting for This is America and the World is made possible by the Japan-America Society of Washington, D.C., the Republic of Uzbekistan, the Sultanate of Oman, the Kingdom of Morocco, the National Association for Children of Addiction, Faces and Voices of Recovery, the Forerunner Foundation, the Rotendaro Family Trust, and the Embassy Series, Uniting People Through Musical Diplomacy. Attracting domestic and foreign investment calls for the skills and efforts of many within the government. I talked with the advisor to the Minister of Investment and Foreign Trade.
Direct Investment Fund is the first sovereign wealth fund of Uzbekistan that resembles similarities of other international or sovereign wealth funds, like in Norway. You have one in Singapore, like Temasek. You have one in Abu Dhabi, which is called Abu Dhabi Investment Authority. This is basically a fund that accumulates extra reserves, then directs into domestic investments. So we're a portion of the largest sovereign wealth fund, which is called Fund for Reconstruction and Development of Uzbekistan. It's approximately $18 billion in size. Most of the money is it's reserve money of the country. We have been allocated 1 billion of that 18 billion to invest into domestic champions. And our organization is like a general partner of this fund, if you think of private equity structure. And our job would be to seek domestic opportunities where equity capital is missing.
So is it as simple as a country comes along or a business comes along and they see the potential of Uzbekistan and they get together with you? How do you take their interests and put them into the right silo, the right area of investment?
The process is standard. There are no, brand new ideas. We have to keep it simple, and the simplicity is key. Number one, we need to align our interest. We need to make sure the interest of investors and the interest of the fund are the same, which means investing into sound projects that we earn money, we create jobs, and we contribute to the economic development. There are a lot of sectors that we know, having local expertise, that are hungry for capital.
So what would be a couple of examples?
Energy sector.
Okay.
There's a big demand. Energy industry and sector has been underinvested over the last 30 years. The population is growing. We grow approximately 600,000 persons per year. We will reach probably 35 million by end of this year, which means demand for food, agri sector is very important here. 300 days of the sun per year provides great foundation to develop further our agri sector. and export, fruits and vegetables. Industries like construction materials. There's a construction boom right now taking place.
Yes, there is.
The people need place to live.
Everything you see is new construction.
New construction. People need place to live. People need shelter. And there's a lot of investment taking place from the government, private sector, to build residential properties, to build offices, to build commercial real estate, logistics centers. And I think another key industry that demands our attention is probably in financial sector, because anything you touch requires financing. And we have underbanked banking system, I believe. The size of the banking sector, approximately 40 to 50% of GDP. In other countries, it's close to 100% or maybe even more. So you need adequate financial system to bring capital. So we would welcome foreign financial institutions, banks to come in and study. There are a lot of them who are looking at Uzbekistan at the moment. Kazakh banking sector, Kazakh banks are entering Uzbekistan. We have Turkish banks that operate in Uzbekistan. And
any American interest?
There is, but they're more cautious, as you know, because American banks follow the clients. So number one job for me and for my friends in government is to bring more American companies to Uzbekistan.
Sure.
And American banks that will follow the clients.
Thank you for
My
terrific
pleasure.
conversation.
My pleasure. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
having me, and I hope you're enjoying it, and I hope you'll have a great trip.
Within the agriculture sector, there's an opportunity to make a real contribution to Uzbekistan. American businessman Dan Patterson saw that opportunity and jumped right in.
We actually have what's called a cotton cluster, where we're moving into the textiles as we begin to further vertically integrate. So we're growing cotton right now, and we're bringing modern agriculture from the West, machines, techniques, technology, research, and collaborating with the locals here in Uzbekistan to try to reestablish many of the agricultural techniques to bring sustainability to their farmland.
So cotton is the main interest, right?
So the cotton is the beginning. So one of the invitations that we received was to please come and help modernize and mechanize the cotton harvest in agriculture. So we actually architected a plan that dealt with John Deere and some of their new technology and their CP690s to be able to bring GPS and precision farming to Uzbekistan.
What's on the horizon for Silverleaf?
Well, Silverleaf is working on a lot of different projects. We're not just focused only on cotton and its further processing. We have another project with a particular tree plantation that we're creating right now called Pavlonia trees. And we're looking at the commercialization of that. We're growing them in vitro in a lab right now in Tashkent. So we have 200,000 trees that we actually created or grew last year. We'll take them out of the lab next month, and they'll be planted in basically a nursery phase that we will have, an open field nursery.
And what's the goal there?
So many of the rural communities don't have natural gas infrastructure, and so they need an alternative fuel. A lot of them burn cotton stalks or corn stalks for heat in the wintertime. And one of the things that we're looking at is a reforestation project that's environmentally sensitive with carbon sequestration credits. We're looking at being able to take the fodder that comes from this, the biomass, and make biomass pellets, and those will be supplied to a lot of the communities to substitute for coal or for cotton stalks. So we're looking at this as an opportunity to also build out later. It's the fastest growing hardwood, so maybe 7, 8 to 10 years we'll rotate these types of cuttings through this forest, but we'll be able to provide new type of jobs. And we'll also be able to support the construction industry and the furniture industry with a new wood source, so it's not imported. We're working on cherry nurseries, so we're looking to also support other parts of the horticulture segment of the agricultural industry. So I'm not going to probably look at growing cherries myself, but providing quality cherry trees and new varieties from the United States. So we're in the process right now of working on licensing intellectual property from many of the IP holders in the U.S. to be able to bring those varieties over here.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
One of the things that we're introducing as part of our culture is maybe a larger focus on charity. And for example, when we came to Uzbekistan, we brought as our gift to the country St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. So when we look at how we engage as an American in Uzbekistan, we engage on the national level with St. Jude and working with children and their cancer. We have a charity. The first charity sports event will be with the Sogdiana Women's Football Club that we sponsor, and we'll play a charity match. And then on a local level, we're working with the communities that support, that kind of flank our farm. We've put up street lights. I mean, we take a lot for granted as Americans, but it's also, we're trying to bring about some of the things and how we care for people at home.
Nice.
And so it's the integration of all these things and trying to integrate some of our culture, some of the better things of our culture with their culture.
Wow, terrific. Dan, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much.
Terrific conversation. Thank you for the education.
Well, I appreciate it, and I hope you have a great stay while you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fergana, a beautiful region with stunning scenery, plays a vital role in Uzbekistan's economy. I talked with the governor. Excellency, thank you for your hospitality.
Mr. Dennis, I would like to also say welcome to Fergana, and I'm very glad to see you.
Hakim in United States, in English, governor, huh?
Exactly. In Uzbekistan, we say Hakim.
The president talks about new Uzbekistan. Tell me.
As you know, this year we're going to be celebrating 30th year of independence. It's going to be anniversary. And over the course of that 30 years, the country has accomplished a lot of reforms. But at the same time, we have to acknowledge that since Mr. Mirziyoyev's starting his office 4 years ago, over the course of those 4 years, a lot of things has changed. And we have been going through the transformation and in economic life as well as in political life of the country. And Uzbekistan is opening to the world, and the whole system is being reformed, and the reforms are based on the promoting the openness and liberty, as well as exactly putting in place the market economy rules. Fergana has 4 cities and 15 districts. And altogether population is about 4 million people.
Mm-hmm. Today, 2021, what drives the economy of Fergana?
So talking about Fergana's economy, first of all, the GRP, gross regional product of Fergana region's own GDP, in other way, it's going to be around 4 billion USD. And 50% of that amount comes from industry. Fergana is well known for industry, and Fergana is well known specifically for the oil and gas and chemistry. The region has very good oil and gas refinery and chemistry enterprises, as well as the construction materials production, light industry. And in Fergana, we also have Fergana Azot. This is a plant. It's Fergana nitrogen, in other words. Also, Fergana has a very good glass production plant from quite some time. And Fergana has Indorama, is another huge company, a joint venture in the textile center, and it has a number of other textiles factories in the region. So altogether, if we take the SME, small and medium-sized enterprises, that number will exceed 43,000.
Is there one single challenge to attract investment here?
Talking about the investments, of course, one of the most important components of the economy of any region, of any country. And as such, we are also paying very priority attention to investment. Even in my own program as a in a position of governor of the region, I have specifically focused on the investments issue and on the attracting investments. If we talk a little bit about the numbers, we had actually the last year, regardless the pandemic and the lockdown situation in the country, we have managed to attract a total amount of 300 million USD as worth of investments. And this year we are planning to exceed at least 500 million USD. And, but in the nearest future, we are aiming to reach the 1 billion USD worth of investments, because we want to use that word. I like that word, using the 1 billion USD worth of investments in the country.
Governor, thank you very much. Thank you so much for our conversation and education and your hospitality.
Thank you very much. I invite you to Fergana anytime with longer visits.
In just 4 years, the government of Uzbekistan has revolutionized the way of doing business within the country. I had a chance to talk with the founder of the TTG cluster. We hear the word cluster mentioned when here in Uzbekistan, cluster. Tell me about cluster and tell me about your cluster.
Okay, well, cluster was an idea of our president. He had an idea to join together producers and producers of ready-made goods and producers of raw material. So it's a vertical integration, and that creates cluster. In our case, it's textile factories who engaged in growing cotton. It gives an opportunity to minimize risks and to minimize costs, to be flexible in using raw material, to control the quality of raw material, and by all this means to be internationally compatible. And that means exporting more, that means be more successful, that means creating more jobs.
How does it work here?
We grow cotton for our textile factories, and of course when you grow cotton, there is a rule of crop rotation. So we need to grow next year, we need to grow something else on the fields that we grow cotton. So we grow wheat as well. So that's how we get deeper involved in agriculture. And of course, when you grow cotton, you process cotton, you have cotton seeds, and from cotton seeds, you have oil. So we have oil extraction factory. And because you grow wheat, you need to make a flour. So you have flour mill as well. That's what we call a cluster. When you grow agricultural products, you process them, and you sell already ready-made goods in the market and internationally and domestically. What we do here in agriculture, in cluster, what we do is we replace people on fields with machines and bring these people into the factories where they have better conditions to work with and to work to earn money, and to have social security. We bring social justice into agriculture. May I say, what we do is we provide these people with a stable salary, with stable social support, and they, for example, in old days, people will work on the fields for 1 month harvesting cotton, and then they don't know what to do, in the winter, because the season is over, and you need to feed yourself, you need to feed your children, you need to earn some money to live. So the role of agriculture is not only to expand export potential of the country, but also maybe its prime role is to bring new job places into rural areas, to bring up the income level of rural population higher, and to give them social support.
What's next for you?
For us, next is to grow further, and we have a lot of things to do. We need to invest a lot into further vertical integration to produce more goods, complicated goods, and to expand into new markets as well. And we have a goal to create 15,000 jobs in our cluster, and we already created 7,000 jobs, and I think by the end of next year we'll be able to create 15,000 jobs. This is, I think, the prime task and for cluster and the policies that our president carries in our country.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
What a wonderful conversation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You for coming.
Thank you. Carolyn Lamm's mission is selling Uzbekistan to potential American investors. She's the chairperson of the American-Uzbekistan Chamber of Commerce in Washington, D.C. What do you think Uzbekistan is looking for in the way of investors?
Investors, well, foreign direct investment, of course, and value add in the country, certainly technology, pharmaceuticals, manufacturing. You know, one of the most successful investments has been GM's investment with UVS Auto in Tashkent, and they produce annually 450,000 cars and sell it to all of Central Asia and beyond.
Let's talk a little bit about the ease of doing business in Uzbekistan. Is the government on board? Do they provide some kind of incentives to get that FDI, as you say?
Absolutely. The government is very much on board. We've seen in the past 5 to 10 years dramatic changes in the legal system. They've passed laws to eliminate corruption, to make their currency convertible, to remove some of the foreign exchange and profits restrictions, and so they have done many market opening things, eliminating a lot of the licensing and other burdensome internal regulatory restrictions, and now they really do work to facilitate business. But one of the greatest natural resources, of course, is its people.
Yeah.
They have a tremendous population, very well educated. Now, most speak English and are terrific business partners.
How about, you mentioned the ease as far as language is concerned. How about the quality of the workers?
The quality of the workers is really very good. They work hard, they're well educated, they're really very much invested, and they want to learn, and they've got the energy, they want to work.
Is there the opportunity for profit for an investor over there?
Absolutely. You know, profit comes as a result of many things. I mean, you have to be skilled and put together good management, good products, export, or sell to the local market if you have some good local partners and you know how to do it.
Your organization, American-Uzbekistan Chamber of Commerce, is also not only trying to attract investors and be the middle entity, but also it's a membership organization. Tell me a little bit about that facet of what you are.
No, that's absolutely the case. We have a board, and we're a membership organization. We seek members. Most of the major companies that compete in the country are members of our organization, and we really do what we can without charge to facilitate their business. If they need introductions to people in the country, we'll make them. If they need some background information, we can provide it. Most of us that are involved, you know, the key members have been involved in the business there since the 90s. We know the people, we know how the business is done, and we can really be of great assistance. And the members collaborate with each other. We have a good website. We have a fabulous executive director, Elena San, and you can easily find us.
Carolyn, thank you so very much.
Thank you so very much.
Hotel accommodations provided by the Hilton, Tashkent City. For information about This Is America and the World, visit our website, thisisamerica.net, or our YouTube channel, This Is America TV, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Underwriting for This Is America and the World is made possible by the Japan-America Society of Washington, D.C., the Republic of Uzbekistan, the Sultanate of Oman, the Kingdom of Morocco, the National Association for Children of Addiction, Faces and Voices of Recovery, the Forerunner Foundation, the Rotendaro Family Trust, and the Embassy Series, Uniting People Through Musical Diplomacy.